I'd like to call this special meeting interest in Anchorage Assembly together for a special meeting on June 2nd. Let's go around the room and Jennifer, social record, Madam Clerk.
Do you want to do roll call, Mr. Chair?
You would, ma'am.
Okay.
Chair Trainee,
Here.
Assemblymember Compton,
Here.
Assemblymember Croft, Assemblymember DeBoski, Assemblymember Dyson, Assemblymember LaFrance, here, Vice Chair Dunbar, Assemblymember Peterson,
Present.
Assemblymember Rivera,
Present.
Assemblymember Steele,
Here.
Assemblymember Wellington,
Here.
Chair Yocum.
Mr. Dyson and Mr. Dunbar asked to be excused.
Okay, so we at 6, we're fine?
You're good. You're
Good.
fine.
Thank you. Next item is Pledge of Allegiance. John? Could you listen to the pledge, sir? Sit over there.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank everybody for being here. There's food in the back if you're hungry. Give you this some sandwiches or whatever you want. We have on the consent agenda, item new business, item 4A1, send memorandum AM 438, 2017, 2018 liquor license renewal, beverage dispenser license Tequila 61 LLC, number 826, Downtown Community Council, Municipal Clerk's Office. The reason for this is because the state had a little problem with sequencing getting here. Barbara, you want to explain to some members why we're having a special meeting relative to this?
Yes, Mr. Chair. AMCO asked the clerk's office if we could possibly do this item before your June 13th meeting. And we agreed to ask the chair, and the chair approved that request. That's why you're here. This item is just a regular consent agenda item. It needs a motion to approve and a second and a majority vote.
Good, so I need a motion to approve. Is there a second? So any questions or comments from the Sunday members as to why we're here? Yes, John.
I got these liquor license process straight. Because we saw this on our agenda, last was it like introduced then and now we're dealing with it or what was it?
Actually, Mr. Weddleton, there were two parts to this license. That was the transfer of ownership, and so the transfer of ownership got processed. This is the renewal. It did not get processed, and that's why we're doing it now. By the way, the executive director of AMCO is here, and again, the clerk's office did this at her request. If you do have any questions for AMCO.
Do you have a question for Eric McConnell?
Well, no, for Barbara, so why was this not on our previous?
The clerk's office did not receive the renewal application to get it on your prior review.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Barbara? Yes, Ms. Rance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Have any community issues been raised concerning this renewal?
We've not got any notices of any ABC violations which would give us cause for concern. Erica, anything from you? Have there been any ABC violations we don't know about on this license?
Mr. Chair, no.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I
sir.
would also add that there have been no complaints that the councils, any part of the area have made about this operation. None of them.
Thank you, Chris. Any other questions from Assembly members? Okay. Madam Clerk, please do vote on this. Do a manual vote. I want to recognize too that we've been joined by Mr. Croft.
Mr. Chair, could you ask for all in favor to raise their hand and then the clerk's
All in
office?
favor?
Okay. Mr. Compton, yes. Ms. LaFrance, Mr. Rivera, yes. Mr. Croft, yes. Mr. Steele, yes. Mr. Peterson, yes. Mr. Trainee, yes. Mr. Weddleton, yes.
Any objections? Seeing none, that's approved, Madam Clerk. Next item of business. Yes, sir.
Just a comment, it's a little bit of a hassle to come down here early, but I'm glad we did this. I mean, there was some everybody owned up to it. We just did what we had to do to make it right. I think that's very good. Thanks for Chris for to that level.
I will add, there was one complaint, John. Why can't I buy a margarita? That was the one complaint that I heard.
Who wants a margarita? We don't serve that.
There was one complaint that I heard.
Otherwise, you'd write us up. I appreciate you guys doing this because sometimes these things happen. We've had triggering non-objections in the past. The new members haven't seen that, but sometimes we've had to do that. We try and deal with business the best we can. They deal with it. So,
Mr. Chair?
yes, ma'am.
I'd like to add that the clerk's office and the assembly work very closely with AMCO. You know, the assembly can have a public hearing in front of AMCO. You're reviewing marijuana licenses. You know, there could be a time where the clerk's office makes an error submitting documents from the assembly to AMCO. And I think you can understand that one of our goals is to work well with our, you know, sister agencies and other government entities, and this is an opportunity that we had to do this. So we thank you, and I can tell you that Erica has also thanked you through me for doing this for you. So thank you again.
Audience participation. Anybody want to speak to us in the audience? Not seeing any, we can move on from there. Adjournment's in order.
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
We're adjourned.